Hey guys, today I am talking about how to eat if you have a thyroid diagnosis. So the do's and don'ts of eating to support your thyroid. Last week or a couple weeks ago, I guess, I talked about specific nutrients and things like that to support your thyroid. So it's a little bit different, some more general ideas when it comes to eating to support your thyroid. So if you have a thyroid condition or you know somebody that has a thyroid condition, I would love it if you would share this video with them so they can have some wonderful, helpful tips to help support their thyroid. My name is Alyssa Cohen. I'm a functional diagnostic health coach and I'm a hormone expert. So I help women who struggle with irregular or missing periods, fatigue, digestive issues, skin issues, and I help them regain their energy, lose stubborn weight, regain regular periods and hormonal balance, and I really help them transform their lives by transforming their health. So, like I mentioned, we're going to talk more specifics, do's and don'ts of how to support your thyroid and what to eat to support your thyroid, or how to eat to support your thyroid, I guess. So, the first thing I want to talk about is macronutrients, which can be a little bit, there's controversy, I guess, so I'll do my best. But macronutrients, we're talking about protein, fat, and carbohydrates. So one thing you want to do for sure, number one, is make sure that you're getting enough protein. Chris Kresser recommends getting at least 10% of your calories from protein. I would say between 60 and 75 grams of protein per day at least. It can be more depending on your activity level and things like that, but shooting for 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal, and then if you're having snacks, you can throw some protein in there too. It's a good place to start. We need protein in our diet to support our thyroid in particular, because when we eat protein, it helps, or it stimulates the release of insulin, and when we need insulin in order to convert T4 to T3. So T4 is the inactive form of thyroid hormone that our thyroid secretes, and then it's converted in our body to T3, which is the active form of the hormone. So we need that insulin in order to help with that conversion. We also want to make sure that we're getting those proteins from good sources of protein. So grass-fed or pastured animals, pastured eggs, wild-caught fish, or even organ meats. If you can do organ meats, I'm not a fan. I've tried. I can't do it. But there are tons of amazing minerals and nutrients in organ meats if you can do that. If you are a vegetarian or vegan, this can get a little bit tricky. You definitely can get protein sources from non-animal sources. If you can do pescatarian and do like fish and eggs, that can be really nourishing. Hemp is a great plant-based whole protein, and so that is another great thing that you can do when you're vegetarian or vegan. I feel like proteins that come from grains and beans are not as substantial or as easily converted in the body and used in the body, so that can get a little bit tricky. But we also want to make sure that we're getting plenty of good quality fats. We need fats as a stable, or as a backbone, a precursor to our hormones. And so we want to get plenty of good healthy fat from things like whole food sources, so coconut oil and hey Haley, coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, avocados, nuts and seeds, stuff like that. Make sure that you're getting plenty of good healthy fats. And then, and then there's the question of carbs. So in my opinion, I think that we need carbohydrates to support our thyroid health, because again, that T4 to T3 active form of our hormone conversion, we need to have insulin secreted in order to facilitate that conversion of hormones. And so in order to have insulin, we need to have carbohydrate input. So there's a lot of people that are really successful on like a keto diet, and this can work for some people. Chris Kresser actually recommends that at least 10 to 20% of your calories are coming from carbohydrates to support your thyroid, and more if you're active. If you do, I mean, I think a keto sort of plan can be really helpful because you're going to get plenty of good healthy fats. But here's the dog. But if you do have hormonal imbalance, it might be a good idea to add in some carbohydrates at night. Can be a good time to add that, but look and check and see how you do. And I think everyone's different, and so starting at that 10 to 20% of carbohydrates and then going up or down from there and seeing how you do can be useful. So all in all, we want to do protein for sure. Definitely have your healthy fats, and I do think have some carbohydrates. The ratios might vary from person to person, and so it might take a little bit of experimentation. But yeah, and then next do number 2 is eliminate inflammatory foods. So these foods in particular are going to be gluten, dairy, sugar, alcohol, and soy, and then sometimes eggs and corn can be inflammatory. I know, we have the same dog, right? I swear to God, he looks exactly the same. Sometimes it's corn and eggs too, and so doing an elimination diet might be helpful, where you take those things out for a period of time and then bring them back in and see if it changes your symptoms at all. If it doesn't change your symptoms, then maybe you don't need to worry about it, but gluten and dairy for sure. Gluten is a huge trigger for especially autoimmune thyroid stuff, so getting rid of gluten for sure, and then dairy is one of those ones that I ask people to get rid of very frequently. And then we want to make sure that you're not going too low calorie. So when we have a thyroid condition, you're likely gaining weight or having difficulty gaining or losing weight, and so it might be tempting to go too low or drop your calories in an effort to lose weight, which is the way that we've been taught is the way to lose weight. But this can be really detrimental because you're going to slow your metabolism even more by reducing your calories even more than you already have. So using a calorie calculator can be useful. I like a calorie calculator that incorporates how much activity you're having and the intensity of your activity, so that it gives a little bit more accurate count. I'll probably post one below so that you can calculate your calorie needs and stay around there. I mean, we can't work on everything at once. This is the thing. People come to me and they're like, oh, I want to lose weight. Well, we have to balance your hormones first, and a lot of times the weight loss can come with that, but we can't work on everything at the same time, and so we have to have one focus. And so if we're focusing on balancing your hormones, we need to make sure that you're giving your body adequate nutrition and energy, and making it feel like it's safe. And then, once that's all happy and balanced out, you might have lost the weight, or, then we can work on losing the weight from that point. So that's the deal. Make sure you're getting plenty of protein. Make sure you're getting plenty of healthy fats. And I think incorporate some carbohydrates. It might be in a cyclical type of approach. It might be like carb nights, so just focusing on your carbohydrate intake at night. It might be around a workout, but 10 to 20% of your calories coming from carbs or more, depending on your activity level. Play around and see how you feel. Do get rid of inflammatory foods like gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, alcohol, maybe corn and eggs, and then don't go too low calorie, because you're just gonna push yourself further down the rabbit hole of horrible health, which is what I did to myself, and don't do it. It's still a struggle. I do track my calories occasionally to make sure that I'm eating enough, because it can be tempting to go too low again, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna get so skinny and eat nothing, so don't do that. So I'm curious, after listening to this, is there something that you are wanting or need to change about the way you're eating or what you're eating? Especially if you have a thyroid issue, let me know in the comments below, and then tell me what action that you might take after watching this video. And again, also, if you know somebody that is struggling with a thyroid condition, share the video, share the love, because sharing is caring, and let those people know that there's other options outside of just taking thyroid medication, and that you want to share the love with them. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week with more happy thyroid information, I'm sure. Bye.